One of the longest standing questions when it comes to the individual member planets of the Federation is what, if any, ships do those planets field when Starfleet vessels aren't around? This is pretty highly contested as the topic has never actually been answered on screen. However, I have always maintained that Federation members have basically two lines of defense. The first is that of the federalized military arm of the Federation, namely Starfleet. The organization is the one that is called when things get real. Members of Starfleet are tasked with the defense of all Federation citizens after all. However, the secondary line is that of their own planetary defenses. This would include defenses like the ones we hear about with Beta Z in Deep Space Nine, as well as probably varying militias of different sorts. My theory holds that individual planets actually have their own planetary vessels for defense if necessary. Because of this, it is possible to see species-centric designs around areas that historically belonged to a former independent government. To that end, we will first take a look at the Dakir science vessel. Designed in the 22nd century, the Dakir class has persevered for centuries, even into the 25th century. In the past, I have been pretty critical of this vessel still existing, as we know that the ship will continue into the 30th century. However, the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. The Dakir is a science ship that was originally created as a defensive vessel. So, it would make sense that a race, based on logic, would probably try to keep the basic superstructure and just fit better technologies on it. Their vessels would largely look the same with only minor modifications to the structure itself. It's ironic that this strategy mirrors that of the highly emotional Klingons, though both sides would keep their legacy ships for similar and differing reasons. The Dakir class science variant is, as stated, a Vulcan design and one of the few remaining vessels to have a coleopteric warp drive system, also known as the ring drive, which has the warp coils housed in a ring-like shape around the vessel. The ship has 5 specialty bridge consoles, including 1 tactical officer, 1 engineering officer, 2 science officers, and a universal console. It would have 3 weapons fore and 3 weapons aft, with room enough for Starfleet engineers and scientists to install up to 3 different experimental technologies. As a science vessel, it comes with the standard sensor suite that gives it the ability to enact devastating damage upon enemies, as well as defend itself and others. These advancements include the enhanced particle generators, which would allow it to do more damage to enemy vessels, advanced shield systems improving its shielding, enhanced restorative circuitry, which would allow the crew to repair their hull and shields faster, along with reactive shield technology, which would reduce the amount of damage the shields take from enemies. The vessel would have a built-in Talkir support craft that could detach and assist in repairs as well as targeting enemies. The support craft is an oddity in that it is one of the coolest things that I have enjoyed using that feels like it is utterly useless. I mean, it didn't feel like it gave any advantage, but did look cool. I mean, just look at the little guy. Who's a big helper? Who's helping me defeat 23rd century Klingons that somehow have technology that can rival 25th century tech? You are. You're the big helper. The vessel also has sensor analysis, which allows it to target enemies for better shots and more precise attacks, and it could also target friendly ships to assist in repairs. Along with its other abilities, it can also target subsystems of enemy vessels, including auxiliary, weapons, engines, and shielding subsystems. There is also an Admiral version of this ship, but from what I can tell, most Admirals don't use the design as they have issues with needing more pylons. Not sure what that's about. The only way this ship makes sense is if it's considered to be a militia vessel that has joined up with Starfleet due to the Federation's need for vessels after constant war. The ship being designed by Starfleet Corps of Engineers doesn't seem logical. Though it is a tough little ship that I died a lot in when I played it. But all of these are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next Lore Reloaded.